Welcome home to St. Anne's. We want you to know that we welcome you. Please be seated. Join us Sundays at 10 a.m.
Sunday of Lent. Go ahead and wrap your mind around that for a second. I know there are a few people like, yes, finally the music will get better and I'll be able to sing it because it'll be stuff you recognize. Actually, our music has been phenomenal. Only St. Anne's can pull off good music during Lent. And you know I'm right if you've been to another church. So it is our last Sunday in Lent because next Sunday we'll begin the story of the Passion. And it will be Palm Sunday, the entrance of Jesus into Jerusalem, and then we'll enter into Holy Week. Now, one thing that you should know about me that you're going to recognize a little bit differently come next Sunday is most churches, many churches, will do Palm Sunday and the Passion Sunday. I, because of my neuroses, will not. I think it's too schizophrenic. And that came out of the idea that, nobody's going to Holy Week anyway. And y'all need to hear the Passion narrative. So we'll just collapse it all into one Sunday. And I said, I'm not giving you an excuse. Otherwise, I would cancel church like every football game that the Chiefs play. Every home game, when y'all come in your gear, you think I don't know what you're doing? I know. But I don't cancel church. I say, God bless you and have fun and bring home a W. Oh, that's baseball, isn't it? Can you tell which sport I prefer? Shh. So we'll do it a little bit differently. We'll just be doing Palm Sunday, which is, the Sunday that it is. So this is the last Sunday in Lent. And we've been getting kind of used to John and his circular stories, haven't we? How he says things in metaphor and you never really are quite certain what John is saying. But it's beautiful, whatever it is that he's saying. We all like it. But this one is really important. They're all really important. I say that every Sunday, don't I? It's really important. They're all really important. But we're nearing the end of his ministry. And so John is dropping a whole lot of these metaphors that are really, really powerful that are setting the stage for Christ's death and resurrection. Because remember, he's been talking about it a little bit, but no one really believes him. I mean, you all have that aunt who's the hypochondriac, right? And on her tombstone, it will say, I was right, I told you so. You know that one, right? Because you can gear it up, but we never quite really believe them. You're like, whatever. You're fine. Stop overreacting. And that's kind of the disciples. Nobody wants to believe that any of this stuff is actually going to go down. But Jesus is attempting to prepare them for it. And I love this metaphor of the seed. I love this metaphor because it's one of those metaphors that transcends time. We get this one. Normally, when there are bizarre metaphors, I feel like I have to go back into history and explain why they're making this reference, because we're all like, eh. But this one makes sense, because we've all planted something, haven't we? There is no faith greater than that of the one in which in March you plant a seed. There's no greater metaphor for faith than planting a seed in March, because we don't believe it. Nothing's ever going to be alive again. Look at this. Every time we think spring is coming, winter comes back and it's like, oh yeah, but wait, there's more. And you're like, dang it. So the planting of the seed is such a powerful, powerful metaphor because we get it. It makes sense to us because we've all done this. But the power of the seed is that it's really fun and sweet. I love this time of year when I start to get to pretend that I'm a gardener. Yeah, I love it. And then come August, I'm like, screw that. But right now, I love it. And so I'm all about the seeds and getting the stuff ready. But when you really think about what we do to seeds, it's horrible. It's really awful, isn't it? Because I'm into science, like not really good science, but I like science. And so have you ever actually watched what happens to a seed where you've had the clear thing and you can see what happens? What happens to a seed when it hits the dirt? It bursts. Like, it's not like this fun little thing where, like, you plant the seed and then it becomes this beautiful flower and, oh, isn't it romantic and so sweet? No, like, it's horrible if you're a seed. Like, don't nobody want to be no seed? That's horrible because, like, the walls on it explode and, like, all this stuff starts happening and the seed is literally destroyed. There's no seed anymore. It's not a romantic story, but it's a powerful metaphor for Christ because it is in this that we must go through that for this whole thing to happen. We all want Easter without Good Friday, don't we? Nobody wants to go to church on Good Friday. Literally, no, I don't want to go to church on Good Friday. It's horrible. But you can't have Easter without the seed exploding. There must be destruction. There must be pain for resurrection. And that is the message of the seed. And I love it because it's a metaphor that we get. And we want to clean it up. Don't we want to make it okay? Don't we want Easter without Good Friday? That's what we want life to be like. We want Jesus. We want life to be easy and comfortable and beautiful all the time. But it's that realization that there must be pain, there must be explosion, there must be chaos for there to really, truly be resurrection. That is the Christian story. That's the Christian story. Can I tell you a story? I'm going to do it anyway, whether or not you say yes. I'll go like, yes, Meg, we'd love to hear your story. Yes, Meg, we'd love to hear your story. Yeah. Oh, see, thank you. Thank you. It's nice. It's nice to feel like I'm being validated. You don't validate me ever, so nobody asks your opinion anyway. That's why we put you back in the sound booth. Put earmuffs over your ears. So many of you know that I have MS. It's not a state secret. Those of you who don't know are probably like, why is that priest drunk before church even starts on Sunday? That's weird. I mean, I know the Episcopalians are chill, but really? The reason is because I have MS and I walk like a drunk mule on a regular basis. So I was diagnosed my last semester of graduate school. I was 24 years old. I was newly married, and I was getting ready to graduate. I just accepted my first call in Council Bluffs, Iowa, actually. And I couldn't, because back then, I was probably a better preacher than I am now, because I actually wrote my sermons. Yeah, I know. I would stand back there and I would like read, because it was like a manuscript, and it was good. I love the words I chose. They were great. Y'all don't get that anymore. But back then, back in the day, in 2009, that was 2009, Meg, and I couldn't read them. Like, they weren't making sense, and I had trouble doing research or writing papers because I was having trouble reading the screen on my computer. And so I did what all people do. I was like, oh, I should probably go and get my prescription changed because I need new glasses, right? Right? That's what you do. But I was in graduate school in Chicago, and home was in Iowa, and I was like, when I have a chance to get back to Iowa, I'll go back and get new glasses. So I finally did, and the eye doctor, he says to me, I can't fix it. So it's not where I can fix it with glasses. It's probably something wrong with your retinas. But he was really concerned about it. So he made an emergency appointment in Des Moines for a retinologist. He said, you got to go there tomorrow. So I did, thinking, oh, great. I'm going to have to get eye surgery or some sort of other thing, or like thicker glasses or something, right? So I went, and he says to me, I can't fix it, which means it's your brain. And he said, so based on your age, you either have a brain tumor or you have MS. I don't know which one. Great. That's what you want to hear at 24. Like, either something's growing in your brain or you're going to be debilitated for the rest of your life. Great. So I went back home, and I literally prayed that I had a brain tumor. I'm not kidding you, I did. Because in my mind, because at that age you would normally have a pituitary brain tumor, and you can take those out and move on with your life. And I was like, okay, so we can do this. I mean, I'll take a few weeks off school, get this thing cut out of my head, we'll be good. So please, Lord, let it be a brain tumor. Prayers that you probably don't ever want to pray. But I didn't get that answer to that prayer, the answer that I wanted. I did not have a brain tumor. And thus started, this was probably in January. So this began, all of you have ever dealt with medicine, have dealt with the hurry up and wait. Like, oh my God, we're so terrified, but we're not getting your test back to you for 3 weeks. And then you do the dumb thing of Googling it. Don't ever Google it. Don't ever Google it. You're going to die from a paper cut because you're going to get tetanus. Like, it's horrible. And of course I Googled it because why not? So it did end up happening that I had MS. And it was, like I said, my last semester of graduate school. And I was ordained a deacon, but I wasn't ordained a priest yet. And I just accepted a job. And like I said, I was newly married. And I thought it was over. Like, nobody wants a crippled priest. And I've put all this time, like my entire career has been prepared for this thing, but what am I going to do with that? And I didn't even really understand MS all that much. I just understood that it was horrible. I understood that no matter what happened, it was going to feel like death to me, no matter what. So that's the story of my diagnosis with MS. I still have it. It's not great. And it is one of those diseases that's like a series of tiny little deaths, but then like you come back from it. So there isn't a cure. I hope that there is a cure, but there isn't one. And so we just make it work, right? But the reality is when you're going through something like that, it feels like the very end. Like nothing good could possibly come out of this. This is just straight up horror. Horror. And yet, almost 10 years later, seriously, I'm going to Europe on the anniversary of my diagnosis with MS. I swear to you. But the thing is, we learn that that's not the case, is it? I still have it. I still look drunk every Sunday. You can come up with really good stories. Some days I look drunker than others. I can't remember a damn thing in my life. But it's not the end, is it? It's not the end. And the beauty of resurrection is this understanding that through that pain and that horror, there is resurrection. And the reality is, I am the person I am today because of being told there's something wrong with your brain. That doesn't mean that it's good. That doesn't mean that God gives it to us either. It means that God can bring resurrection out of all of it, out of the chaos, out of the things that feel like there is nothing good that can come out of this. There is nothing good that can come out of Romans nailing a guy up on a tree. It's literally one of the worst, horrific ways to die. It is purposely one of the worst ways to die. Nothing good can come out of that. Nothing good can come out of that, except the resurrection of all of us. My message to you today is that life is full of chaos. Life is full of what seems like absolute death. Like nothing good could possibly come out of this. Feels like that, doesn't it? When you're going through it, it feels like nothing, this makes no sense. Nothing good can come out of this. But the power of our God is that God says, those are the things that I will use. Not that I will do them to you. Because we have that sometimes, don't we? Like, why would God do this to me? We have that, right? It's not that God does those things to us, but the power of our faith is that God uses them. And I really, truly believe that the priest that I am today is because of that diagnosis. I have greater compassion. I have greater patience. I have greater acceptance because guess what? Those things are offered to me constantly. Y'all put up with an enormous amount of crap. You do. God bless you. I love you for it. But because that is offered to us, we can then offer that to others because it makes sense to us. That is the power of the resurrection. The power of the resurrection is that nothing good can come out of this. And yet, the resurrection of all of us does. That's my message to you today. So, do not try to skip Holy Week. Don't do it. Now, I understand that you have a life and you might not be here for Holy Week, and that's okay because life happens. But don't try to escape the pain in your life. Don't do it. Because it is in that pain, it is in that chaos that God will create resurrection. It is in that we will come out of this better people. And it is in that we will be able to change the world for other people. Our death, our pain, brings about the resurrection of others.